Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger, and boy, do I have a fun one for you today. If you've ever wondered if there are folks out there that care about your niche enough to pay you for that information, maybe you've thought that your niche is way too narrow, there's not enough people out there that would be interested in that, or that there's no way you could monetize the thing that you're interested in, and you've got to listen to this episode. I interview a guy named Kyle Boyer. First heard about him through my friend Tyson Priest's podcast, Succeed with Tyson Priest. And Kyle is a huge fan, loves paper airplanes. He created a YouTube channel several years ago and just kept consistently posting. And in January of this year, he quit his job to go full-time in that niche, teaching people how to do paper airplanes. He's got a book on it, YouTube channel, over 100,000 subscribers. So I believe this episode is really going to encourage you, because if Kyle can do it with a niche about paper airplanes, then you can too with the thing that is on your heart, that thing you're passionate about, that skill set you have, the thing that you're knowledgeable about. There are other people in this world that will look to you as a leader in that niche if you just step out, and yes, you can monetize that thing that you have, that knowledge that you have, your passion as well. And so I'm just super excited to bring this to you. And guys, this is something that I love to do. Taking a topic that you're passionate about, knowledgeable about, and turning it into multiple streams of income. And Jenny Hunt and I just finished a series of webinars about how to monetize your passion. And we also unveiled the blueprint for creating multiple income streams. The replay is at streamsofincomeradio.com. This is episode number 37. And you can go right to that page and in the show notes, and you'll see the links for that those replays. Also, we have an offer. We would love to help you monetize the thing that you're passionate about. We have an Influence the Easy Way program where we will help you, walk you through those exact steps, walk you through the blueprint that we have used in our business to create multiple streams of income. And guys, you can get in the first 30 days for $1. We want to make this so super accessible to you. Just jump in, check it out. You can cancel at any time. We want to help you create multiple income streams from that thing that you're passionate about. Kyle, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you being on the Streams of Income radio show. How are you today?
I'm doing really well, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Well, I heard you on my friend Tyson Priest's podcast, Succeed with Tyson Priest. Guys, that's a great podcast. Tyson's been a guest of mine as well. And Tyson told me about Kyle, guys, that he loves, and I already kind of teed it up a little bit before having him jump on here. He loves paper airplanes and has turned that into a full-time income, which blows my mind. So Kyle, tell me about your story, how you got started doing this, and just how it's led to where you are now.
Sure. Like most kids and paper airplanes, my story begins when I was like 7 years old. One of my grandparents got me a book, and I started folding. I was immediately addicted. I was always kind of the guy who would throw away Lego instructions. I didn't want to just do what someone was telling me to do. I wanted to kind of take it in my own direction, create for myself. So I started designing paper airplanes, which really were not very good. But I thought they were amazing because I was 7. And
right.
I pledged to myself that I was going to publish a paper airplane book, kind of where the interest started, and it somehow never fell off. You know, the interest shifted from just like a wonder and flight to an enjoyment of engineering and origami. And so, eventually I decided, okay, I want to take this seriously, and I want to actually try to make that happen. And that's kind of the beginning of the YouTube career.
That is awesome. Tell me about YouTube, how you got started there, because I listened on your interview with Tyson. You said you just started the YouTube channel just because it was fun for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not the first YouTube channel completely dedicated to paper airplanes, believe it or not. There are a few of them that are rather large,
Okay.
some still bigger than I am. But I saw that the content they were creating was really pretty low production value, and the planes themselves weren't, I didn't feel any better than what I was capable of creating. So I felt like I could see that they were gaining traction, that there was a market for it, and it was definitely something I was interested in creating. So I wanted to take that opportunity. And so that gave me enough encouragement to kind of jump in, and I just committed to, for 1 year, posting a video every week. And, there's strategy around that, but I feel like the consistency itself was a really important thing. And, I didn't immediately see traction. It was just the fact that I was committed to it. It was something I enjoyed. Allowed me to push through the times when, it took me 6 months to get my first 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
And then 6 more to get the next 24,000. So week after week, hoping to get, 1 subscriber in a day or 2 subscribers
right.
in a day before it finally exploded.
Man, that's awesome. And you're at 100,000 now?
I think I'm at like 114 today.
114,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. Guys, there's so much we could dig into what he just said there. Number one, that he saw a market for it. You could have any niche there. Kyle, I think there's probably a way to probably monetize about anything. Especially after hearing your story, I'm convinced that there's probably an angle for about anything, but you've got to have a market for it. Just because you have a love for it, there's got to be a market of people that also are interested in that subject and willing to pay you for that information. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. And I think one of the wonderful things about the internet is now the market is very diluted in any one physical location for paper airplanes. But I can access essentially the entire global market through the internet.
Yeah.
Certainly the entire English-speaking market.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So there are other people out there doing this already, but you just saw, it's another tip, guys. He saw that there were people already doing this, which Kyle, I have a lot of people in my audience that are like, you know what, it's already been done. A lot of Amazon people are already putting out books and courses. So there's no room for me. Well, that is so not true. Just the fact that, Kyle, I think that I could even come up, if I wanted to, I could probably do a paper airplane channel and just make it different. Like if it was, long as it was from my perspective and my unique designs, I would have a place. Now I have no desire to compete with you at all. That's not my thing, but I believe that even if there's somebody that's looking at a topic that you're interested in, and you see a lot of Kyles out there that have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube or this huge email list, Kyle, sometimes that discourages people. And I would tell them that, just do it because your unique perspective is what will draw certain people to you. And so, yeah, just go after it and do what Kyle did. So super cool. But another thing you did, you said that you did 1 video every week. So just that consistent effort. You said something on Tyson's interview too, that I think you said, from zero to dream realized. Talk about some of those steps and some of the tough parts that you went through when you get on there and no new subscribers. How'd you keep staying consistent?
Honestly, and it's funny, the first tough part was being willing to tell everybody that one of my primary interests was paper airplanes, and I was opening myself up to potential failure too. Like, hey, I have this really crazy. I'm an adult who loves paper airplanes.
Yeah.
And second, I'm starting a paper airplane YouTube channel that currently has like 7 subscribers. And you all are either going to watch me succeed or fail. So even just opening myself up to that was one difficulty. Then, of course, the slow momentum, after launch, you have to wrestle with, okay, here's kind of what I was projecting, what I was hoping for. I'm not really meeting those projections. That was a challenge, but the consistency being committed to it was definitely important. Honestly, yeah. And then the challenge of completing the tasks that I had committed to completing. There were days, I would post every Saturday. There were days where I was working till 11 on Friday night trying to get Saturday's video done because at the time I was working another job. I had other responsibilities and other interests.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing that you committed to do that even when you weren't seeing the results come in when you wanted to. I just kudos to you for that and following your dream. Guys, there's a lot to learn from that. Just keep at it, keep going. If you feel like, there's something on your heart to do, a book to write, a course, a YouTube channel to come out with, just give yourself. And I love that you said a year, because I have a friend named Dan Miller who says that too. Any new venture, like if you're going to start a podcast, don't just do 2 episodes. That didn't work. Or start selling on Amazon and, 1 month later quit. If you clearly know that's not for you and you made a mistake, it's cool that sometimes it's okay to backtrack and do something different. But if it's something that you really feel like this is where you're supposed to go, give it a year like you did. That's awesome. Man, I'm just inspired by everything you've done and how. So obviously my podcast is called Streams of Income. So tell me about the different streams. Obviously you can have a YouTube channel and never make anything from it. How did it go from the YouTube channel to actually making money from all of this?
Yeah, it was always my desire to make money through this. While I do just have a passion for paper airplanes, I definitely was hoping to turn this into at least a part-time income or supplemental income rather. And is a platform called Patreon, which your listeners may not be familiar with, but it's basically a crowdfunding platform where people can subscribe for a service.
Yep.
And my background is in graphic design, so I create basically illustrated papers for all of my planes. And I figured that was something that I could basically offer as a product tied to the channel.
Okay.
So I have patrons who subscribe to get digital files that they can download and print off. Okay. To fold cooler planes than if you're just using a plain sheet of paper.
Yes.
So that is one stream that I immediately started promoting as soon as I was posting videos. Then the next stream, which is actually the largest portion of my income related to Foldable Flight, which is the business I own. I also do contract work for paper airplanes, but I'll get into that. Mm-hmm. I do earn ad revenue on YouTube for views, basically. Ads run in front of my videos. YouTube splits the profit from the advertisers with me.
Okay.
And then now I just recently published a book, which I sell on my website, foldableflight.com, which is another revenue source, and has, that's now about 30% of my business is sales, which is entirely new. Like I was selling a few products on my website before the book, but since publishing the book, that percentage has dramatically increased.
That's awesome. So 30% of your business is sales of the book?
Yeah.
Super cool. Wow.
Yeah. And then on top of kind of do some basically contract work related to paper airplanes as well. And this is one of the cool things too, is as I gained some exposure through YouTube, I was able to leverage that position myself as an authority within the market.
Yep.
And approach other people and say, hey, here's my YouTube channel. I have a following. Here's some of my work. You can see its quality. I'd like to make an airplane book for you, or, something like that. And so I'm actually contracted right now. I'm making a paper airplane book for a toy company. Oh, wow. And I'm also managing their YouTube channel as well.
My goodness, that's awesome. Yeah, your YouTube channel is beautiful with all the thumbnails. It just looks really, really good. There's so many different ways you could go. Like obviously, run people's channels like you're doing and just multiply that out. And to me, it's like just the perfect channel with everything that you got going on there. And I can see why it's so successful for you. So you got the Patreon, the ad revenue from YouTube, the book, and then contract work that you do?
Yep.
Cool. And on your interview with Tyson, you were mentioning the partnership that you have with this the engine company that the motors that attach to your airplane. How did that come about?
Yeah. So literally, the entire product line is our modules that you connect to your paper airplanes, and those modules link up to your smartphone, so you can literally pilot your paper airplanes like a remote control paper airplane from your phone. And they're really cool. And so I I reached out to them seeking a sponsorship deal,
Okay.
actually, and that's how the relationship began. They sponsored some videos on my channel.
Okay.
And then we just kind of continued the conversation from there.
That is so cool. Wow. So guys, if you once you have an audience of people, there are going to be so many different ways to partner up with other companies that are complementary. And Kyle's doing exactly that. I mean, you probably have no desire to have a company that makes those engines. You're the paper airplane guy. You're just going to stay in that lane, and whoever else comes along aside you that could complement what you're doing, it could be a win-win-win situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Love it. So you said that you quit your job or January was the first full January 2020, the first month of being full-time doing this. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
How did you make that jump? Because there's a lot of my listeners that still have a full-time job and would love to be doing what you're doing. So, and you don't need to tell me numbers, but like, how did you guys make that decision? Like, maybe you could say, you know, my airplane business was X% of what I was making, so therefore I felt comfortable making that leap. But how did you guys decide to do that?
Yeah, and it was a tough decision for me too. At the time that I was really thinking heavily about whether I was ready to go full time with paper airplane stuff, I had some talks. I was talking to Power Up about a potential book contract, about potentially managing their YouTube channel, and Foldable Flight was making about half what I was making at my day job.
Nice, 50%. Okay, love it.
And so I knew if I landed these other contracts that I was going to be making more from paper airplane content than I was from the traditional graphic design content that I was doing at work. And the challenge was deciding whether I thought I could do all of it, whether I could take on those contracts and stay.
Okay.
And whether, if I could, would I want to do that? And ultimately I decided that even if I could manage that, I didn't really want that lifestyle. I knew it was going to require a very heavy workload. Sure. And so I just ultimately decided, well, paper airplane content's what I'm passionate about. I'm positioned now that I really could leave my day job. And so I just decided, well, it's time to do it then.
That's awesome. How's it been going? I know you're just very early into that, but how would you say that was a great decision?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going really well. My YouTube channel continues to grow and accelerate. Awesome. The relationship with Power Up Toys is good, and we're getting close to finishing that book. They've actually done some pre-orders of it, and it's outsold our expectations. So we're really excited there. And day to day, I'm just loving what I'm doing, which is truly the thing I want most. Yes. I'm not somebody who's primarily interested in making a lot of money. I just want to make enough to be content and provided for. Yeah. So
that's
doing
awesome.
that through paper airplanes is a dream.
And you're doing it with something that you love. So you probably, like, for me, I imagine it's the same for you now, Kyle. Sunday nights, maybe with your day job, it used to be like, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Or now I'm sure you're like excited about getting back to it, aren't you?
Yeah, honestly. And my wife's always like, you need to work less. But that's the thing. I mean, work is play at this point.
Exactly. I love that you said that. My friend Jim Cockrum always says that too. It's like right now, I mean, I would say, yes, I'm working, but I enjoy these types of conversations. So for me, this is fun. It feels like play. And it's very hard to know sometimes, am I working or am I playing? Especially with what you do. My goodness, you're making paper airplanes, and that's always associated with fun. So the fact that you can make an income from that is so cool. I know this is just encouraging a lot of people. I also love that you said 50%. Now, guys, the amount could be different for every person, but also my friend Dan Miller says once you're at 50% of your day job income, that's a point where you should be able to, if you quit your job, you'll gain back those 40 to 60 hours a week. You'll easily then be able to surpass your income with your business.
Yeah.
So that's a good number, the good rule of thumb there.
You're talking about work versus play. And I think that's an interesting concept too, because another thing that I feel like I've come to understand through this, there is no job that is all play. and including making paper airplanes. Because, for instance, I'm filming and editing videos. I'm packing up orders to take to the post office. And I think that's important for people to understand too, even as they realize their dreams. Your dreams are always going to be surrounded by tasks that are necessary to make the dream itself.
That's right.
And so, it is still work sometimes, but that's okay.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And you're doing something that you love, and it's giving you that time freedom now that you have with your wife. So that is awesome, man. What advice would you give people who, let's say that they want to do what you're doing? Maybe they have a niche that feels a little bit weird, like how in the world would I make money off of this? What advice would you give that person?
I think a few things. One would be, research your market. Be sure that you are as educated as anybody else in that field, or at least as educated as you can be before taking the leap. But also, take the leap, because at least for myself, I knew that I wasn't going to be satisfied until I tried.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is, life's more fulfilling in my understanding when you're working to make your dreams come true rather than working to make someone else's dreams come true.
Love that.
And so take a chance on the dreams that you have. And that doesn't mean you have to quit your day job before you're positioned at all. You can take initial steps while, keeping the security of your current position, or whatever security that is. And start seeing if you're getting traction and can later be positioned to make that transition.
Great advice, man. Kyle, I think I'm probably have a million other questions we could dig into, but for sake of time, I'll let you go. I appreciate you being on with me. It's very enlightening, and I know this will be for my audience, because I've talked to a lot of people who are making money off of something that they're passionate about, but not something like this where I know a lot of people are going to be like, that is awesome. If he can do it with paper airplanes, I can do it with this. So I appreciate you coming on and giving us some encouragement.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I hope everyone's willing to go take that dive.
Absolutely. Oh, last question. I want to make sure that I know you said foldableflight.com. Is that the place in your YouTube channel? How can they where are the places folks can find you?
Yeah, foldableflight.com or youtube.com/foldableflight are the best places to find my content.
Got it. Guys, that'll be in the show notes. Don't expect you to write all that down. Go to streamsofincomeradio.com. It'll be all there in the show notes. And Kyle, we might have you on again, because this is so fun. We'll follow your journey and see how you're doing. And by next time, you'll have 250,000 followers on YouTube or more. So, super cool, man. Thanks again.
About that. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.